Oh, good morning, everyone. Sorry, I don't have any slides for you this morning. It's been a pretty busy week, so we're just gonna have a nice discussion. So my name is Georgie Pongyesva from Hopi, from the Third Mesa Village of Hopevilla, born for the rabbit and tobacco plan. And I previously have worked with, for the last 4 years, with the Cultural Preservation Office in the Hopi tribe, and now consultant and contractor with Grand Staircase and in land management with Barracks Sears, and worked with also Grand Canyon. And this is going to be my third GTS. So thank you for having me here. And so talking about, I guess, a place through time. I just wanted to kind of talk about how, driving here from Hopi this morning, this landscape, I know all of us have value and a heart and piece of it, in our hearts, being guides and being out here and experiencing it, and how vast and just unbelievable and magnificent it truly is, sublime wilderness, right? And I just wanted to kind of discuss how these perceptions of the Grand Canyon for like us as indigenous people, as Hopi, as Walpai, Supai, Paiute, Pai people, there's just all the tribes that hold this place sacred and also have emerged from this sacred place. So for Hopi, we have our emergence place is at the confluence of the Little Colorado and Colorado River. Well, it's super clean. And in our belief, we emerged from there, and we were all one people, and we went in all different directions to spread our migrations all over. And so you'll see that in our Hopi footprints with the architecture, pottery shards, and pictographs, and you'll see them all over the Southwest. So in that concept of thinking like, that was time immemorial, right? So we have this concept of time that is like this spiritual and divine concept that, is even beyond our comprehension. But yet this place is still so sacred to us because it is tied to our emergence. It's tied to stories. It's tied to pilgrimages. It's also the place where we go back to when we leave this world. So in that way, it's a very, very powerful concept and construction of time that's not really measurable in a chronological order like we often do in a Western perspective. So in that concept, I hope and then there's like the geology, right? I'm sure you're familiar with some of the geology and like the millions of years it took to form those things, and that has significance and stories within our culture as well and our history. But then you think about, how we got to this place, right, from this Western perspective of how we view the Grand Canyon and have access to it, right? And so we begin with when it was first, like Native people have been here since time immemorial, or emergent in this area. Some other tribes like are more newcomers, like Navajo, to the area, but then there's also like, so the Spanish were the first like Western, I guess, colonizers come in and view the landscape. And when they came to the Grand Canyon, they didn't see it as a magnificent beauty. And that was in the 1300s. They saw it as an obstacle that stood in their way of conquest. So it's just interesting how that perception has changed over time to, when the railroad, it took lots for tourism to get here in the back in the day. Like the Western expansion, people really had to want to like go view these landscapes, and they didn't really become known to the American public until like the railroads and the Western expansion. And now we have this appreciation because of landscape artists and and like George Catlin, who made it on the national like narrative that this is somewhere, and Roosevelt, who made it, places. But if you think in the concept and construct of time in a compare and contrast, that is just a blip in this canyon's history and the perceptions of it within the last couple centuries. Whereas us, we have been, and it's still important to us, and it's still a testament of that we are still here, and we still hold this place very sacred to us, because it still is not only a place, it's still prevalent within our culture. So in that way of, so in this new era of the Grand Canyon, I think it's always important, like, to know, in order to know where we're going, we must know where we came from. And I think that's also important in thinking about, you know, this, how even the national park was formed and that there's no borders. Like we often think, oh, the river is from the dam down to Pierce Ferry. I mean, there's these constructs that are man-made constructs. And so these concepts of time, like the divine concept of time, which is beyond our even conception, to the geological, which we can chronologically measure in some concept, to our own human perspective of our lifetime. Like think how little that lifetime is within this big construct of time. And so in that way of thinking, think how big of an impact we have made within just the last 100 years of having the park within the dam, with all these things that have affected our water flow, our climate, the river ecology, the species that live there, how big, how little we are in the vast concept of time, but how vast and big our impact is in the long run. So that is what I would love to help you think about, just think about that today, especially as we move forward in this new era, where I hope that we can all come together, because for us, it's not measurable and tangible, or it's not measurable in a chronological order, because it's still important to us. Like Vincent was kind of touching on, and concepts of sacred and respect. Like in Hopi, it's all about, you know, we were, upon our emergence, we were given specific instructions on how to live. And that is to live humbly and be stewards of this earth, and take care of it, you know, through humility and community, stewardship, reciprocity, and respect. And that's respect for not only our community as humans, but humans as our whole earth and community. Like when you go down, I'm sure you notice, it's a whole nother world, and all the insects, all the birds, all the water, like how much life is around this canyon and how magnificent it truly is. And I would love to just help emphasize that there are no borders for us. Like, I know that question that was asked earlier about like, how do you separate what is sacred? It's all connected. For Hopi, you'll see sites all over the Southwest, and they all connect back to Hopi. It's really amazing once you start like, and those are spiritual meridians within the earth, those pathways, those trails. So when you go visit that place, it's like a living landscape. They're not what's quote unquote ruins. They're living places where spirits dwell. And when you go back and visit and pilgrimage, that when we do, that is like renewing that spirit of that, not only the healing for that place, but also the healing for ourselves as well. And the healing, when we pray, we don't pray for just us, we pray for all life on this earth. And that was that given to us upon our emergence into this world. So these places are living sacraments of our testament of time and also our history. They connect to our oral histories and to it's very prevalent within our society. So when you remove, like say pottery shards or desecrate a petroglyph or take something, I mean, and there's consequences that come with that as well, but that is erasing our history. And that, because they're like mnemonic devices, these different sites, these different features, these places, they have stories connected to them, they have clan histories connected to them, and they help us remember. That's why we have survived on oral history. That is, it's still prevalent and living within our society. So that is what I would, hope that you take away from this, is that there are no borders. These places are connected. These watersheds are connected. These and it's vast. It's more than just here on the Colorado Plateau. You can see how it travels all over, all over, we're all connected. So I hope that you visit with respect and understand that, this is a part of our cultural continuance and we're still here. And I'm hope that this new era of the Grand Canyon, we can all come together and, work towards a better future with Grand Canyon. Thank you. That's fine.
For some questions?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Are there questions for Georgie?
Oh, would they come? Oh. Okay. Here, if anyone has any questions, I'll do that. Feel free to ask.
All right, well, let's take another quick little 15-minute break here.